Hey, good morning everyone. How are you? It is Simon here, and today we are going to answer a question from Patreon Dave around seventh chords. Now, his question was basically, how do I know what's the difference between a major seven chord? Is that a major chord, or is it seven chord? Is that a dominant seven chord? Or what's the difference between a minor seven and and so basically what I thought I'd do is I'd quickly explain to you how exactly that works. Now, if you are a bit stuck here, I've got a sort of a previous video from last month where we basically spoke about how to form major and minor chords. So maybe if you're watching on the replay, press pause and go back to that. But just quickly, what you need to do is grab yourself a piece of paper, and along the top, I would like you to write 1 through 7. Under the 9, under the 2, write a 9. Under the 4, write 11. Under the 6, write 13. Now, what do all these numbers mean? What do they mean? So, we're going to do this in C major. So we're going to talk about the chords C major 7, C minor 7, C dominant 7, and C minor major 7. I know. All right, so under those numbers, what we're going to write is C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Now, if you know a little bit about, you can see like that. If you know a little bit about music theory, you'll know that that is a C major scale. So, C, D, E, F, G, A, B is a major scale. Now, to make a major chord, do you know what we need? Do you know what we need? Let's find out if anybody in the stream knows what we mean. Do you know what we mean? Oh, I've got a couple of people here. That's good. Okay, major chord, I'm just going to help you out. We need the first, the third, and the fifth. Okay? So, to play a C major chord, we need C, D is the second, E is the third, 1, 3, 5, C, E, and G. Like this. You see that? C, E, and G. Okay? That's the notes in a C major. And so, you might not have kind of thought about this before, but when you play a C major chord like this, we've got C, E, G, C, E. So really, what's happening is you've got those three notes and they just repeat. It doesn't matter how many of those notes you have, as long as you have one of each, that's going to be C major. Now, my Patreon's question, Steve's question, was basically around okay, that's great, I get that, but I get a bit confused around sevens. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the kind of spelling of sevens first. So let's talk about probably the most kind of common one that you'll come across is C7. So you'll see it written like that, C7. Now, the first thing we've got to know is what the formula is for C7. The formula for C7 is 1, 3, 5, and a flat or a dominant 7. So we need the spelling to look like that. So it's pretty straightforward. We're going to need a C. Can I do this backwards? I'm not sure. C, E, G, and you see the seventh is B. Now, the seventh, the major seventh of C major is B. And we need to make it flat because you see our little formula says flat 7, add a dominant 7. So you just make that B into a B flat. All right, so you've got C, C, E, G, and B flat. Okay, so it's a major chord with a dominant 7. Now here's something a bit funny. When I first started learning guitar in the sort of late 1600s, they always would call that chord C dominant 7. When you saw it on charts and stuff like that, they'd always call it C dominant 7, but something through the mists of time, suddenly that has morphed into being C7, which kind of causes some of the confusion, I've got to say. All right, so C with that note there is a B flat, okay? So now I've got a C, an E, a B flat, a C, an E, G. See what I mean? So that is a C7. Any questions so far? We've got a little audience. Maybe everybody's away for Christmas already. We've got 3 people in here. Say hi Just say hi and where you're from and all that sort of stuff. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I am live here. So that's a C7. Now, the big question I get asked is like, so that's basically a major chord with a dominant 7. So what's the difference between that and C major 7? Because isn't that the same thing? C major 7. The way you've got to think about it is that this chord, C dominant 7, is really like C major dominant 7, right? And a C major 7, the spelling, let's go back to my high-tech whiteboard. You can see we're very high-tech here in my lessons channel. The formula for a C major 7, does anybody know that? Maybe you maybe know that already. Who's here? Don't be afraid to say hello. Just type hi. It's all good. Any questions, just ask. So, I don't bite, unless you ask. So, for C major 7, we need 1. Because you always need the C, right? C major 7, the spelling is 1, 3, 5, and a major 7, okay? So, a major 7, there it is. 1, 3, 5, 7. Hey, Steve. 1, 3, 5, 7. Oh, there you go. So, what notes do we need in that? We need a C, an E, a G, like we did in all the other major chords, and a 7. And what's the 7? It's B, B major. It's a major 7, right? It's a major 7, so it's a B. So we've got C, E, G, and B. All right? So, the difference between those two chords is not whether it's a major chord or whatever. So this is C7, and then this, whoops, C major 7. It's still early here, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay? So you can still see it's major, so we've got a C here. We've got an E here, which is the third, major third. We've got a 5, which is the G, and we've added a B. So C major 7. All right? And you can hear the difference between those two chords. Up the neck, we play a C here. C dominant 7. Excuse me. And C major 7. And so the thing that is different between these two chords, they're both major chords, but one has a dominant 7 and one has a major 7. All right, it's pretty clear? I'm hoping that's clear. And so that effectively is the difference between these two chords. Now, let's talk about the other side of the coin, the minor coin, the minor side. The minor coin, the minor side of the coin. All right, so how do we make a minor chord? Well, it's pretty much the same. Right? Don't need all that. All right? To make a major chord, we need 1. Whoops, I can't do this backwards. 1, 3, 5. Right? Now, to make that a minor, this one here, that major third needs to become a minor third. How do we make it minor? We basically flatten the third. So we're going to flatten that. So, let's flatten that, flat, flat. So how do we make an E flat? Like the answer's in the question. So it's an E flat, right? Perfect. So, now we've got 1 flat third, 5 flat 7. So that is a C minor with a dominant 7. So it's like C minor dominant 7, all right? And so that, we go back to our chord here. So C major, this C minor, right? Now we add that dominant 7. The dominant 7 is a B flat. So C minor with a dominant 7. Okay? Make sense? So far we've had C major with a dominant 7, or C7. We've had C major with a major 7, C major, major 7, right? So C major 7, that's what it's called, right? Because the major belongs to the 7 more than the chord. We've just had C minor with a dominant 7. So, like that, right? Put that one there for extra 70-ness. All right, there's one left. We need C minor with a major 7. So it's exactly the same. We've still got that minor chord, but we put a major 7 in there, which is a B, right? So we have a C major chord, C minor chord, and with a major 7. So it's a weird thing, right? So C minor, major 7. It sounds like it can't be almost, right? But C, there's the major 7, a B, and you'll have heard of this. You'll heard this in like sort of James Bond, right? C minor, major 7, mysterious. Okay? So that is the 4 types of 7 chord, right? The 4 basic types of 7 chord. Now, so you have 2 major ones and 2 minor ones, and that's it. So that is really the thing that people get stuck on. The thing that people get stuck on is C7, confusing C7 and C major 7. Whereas really C7, if you think about it, hey Wendy, how are you? The thing is really you get C7 is C major with a dominant 7, or C major 7. Don't get sucked into thinking it's C major 7. It's C major, major 7. Okay? So those 2 minor chords we just spoke about, right? So that's C. This is now it's C minor, major 7, and this is C minor, dominant 7. Okay? So that's your 4. Can you do a Mossy one day? I don't know. What is a Mossy? Or a Mossy tune, you mean? I think I've got some Mossy tunes on my channel here. Can I do a Mossy one day? I don't know what that means. It sounds exciting though. I went to go and see him a little while ago, and it was great. He was really, really good. Still really, really good. I went to go and see Cold Chisel just before COVID happened at the Factory Theatre here in Sydney. And holy smokes, they were amazing. Anyway, so that is your chord. So you got C major, C minor, right? Then the 7s. So C dominant 7, C major 7, C minor, take that one off, add a B flat, C minor 7, and C minor major 7, right? So there's your 4 7s, pretty straightforward. Mossy. Now, you can have a look on my channel. I've got a few. I think I've got Forever Now lesson, Bow River, which is my absolute all-time favourite. Bow River. How's that go? I've got a feeling it's A minor. No, can't remember. Without the chart in front of me, you see. Let's put the chart in front of me. I'll give you a bit of run through. It's Christmas, you know, so we're here now. So, Cold Chisel. If you want charts to any of these things, over at Patreon, you can sign up, you get the videos plus the charts from YouTube, and then you basically you can also access my entire chart library. So over the years I've, oh that's right, of course at the beginning goes, little down to the window, little down, little down, little down, little down. It's pretty cool, hey? I don't wanna see you down the moon. And then you get that. I've been working hard, and now's the day. F. It's just really awesome. The best bit actually is the bit, you can go and check out the video later, but the best bit I reckon is that run where it goes, I don't wanna see you down no more. You know, that's really cool. Anyway, get excited by Bow River. So good. Anyway, so that's your 4 chords. It's 4 7 chords, right? Now, the other question I had was, well, what's an 11 chord? What's an 11 chord? Well, in this, you've got that 7 thing, right? And then so when you have a 9 or 11 or 13 chords, you know, these kind of extended sounding chords, very jazz, right? 9 chords. 9 chords probably the most common out of all of those sorts of things. You hear those in like anything by, you know, any of that kind of funk sort of stuff, right? So that's a 9 chord. Now, let's just go to C, because we were talking about C before, right? So here's C major. Here's C7. Now, if you just keep going, and you're going to work out how that works, right? So you've got C, D is 2, right? You go all the way around. The D is also the 9, all right? So you need to add, you've got C, E, G, B flat, and you need to add the 9, which is a D to this chord. And here is a D. So you need to swap your hand around from C7, swap your hand around, right? That is a C9 chord, not to be confused with C add 9. See, the way that chords work, the answer is always in the name of the chord. So C9 is really C, dominant 9, it's a dominant 9, dominant chord, dominant 7, plus the 9, right? And the C add 9, it's C major, add a 9. So there's no 7 in there. It doesn't say to add a 7, right? So that's how you know. You get that in funk, kind of, you got a B.B. King blues, like this sort of like, that kind of vibe. That kind of thing. So, you're welcome, Wendy, no problem at all. Now, that's how those work. So you basically have C add 9, which is the kind of chord you hear in loads of those sort of 90s, like that kind of thing. And a C9 is the kind of chord you heard here in like James Brown and that sort of funk, more elaborate blues, that sort of thing. Okay, so that is the answer to, you know, those extended chords. The easiest way is just to learn all the formulas. If you learn the formulas like major, 1, 3, 5, minor, 1, minor third, 5, you know, and the name of the chord will always give you the answer. So what I'm going to do is once I've finished doing the live stream here, I'll put a little chart up over at Patreon, patreon.com/Simon Morrell, with all the chord formulas. And all you need to, they're easy, you just need to learn them. It's like, you know, just rote learning at school. It's a doddle. And then once you know how the, you know, you've got to learn how the major scales are formulated, and then you just like, it's like painting by numbers. You just fill the gaps up with the notes, and then you've got the chords, right? It's pretty straightforward. It's one of the best things I ever learned around the theory stuff with the guitar. It really made a big difference to how I understand the whole thing, how it works. So that is it for the year of live streams. I've done 12 live streams this year, all sorts of things, lessons, and I'm always happy for questions. So join up at Patreon, shoot me a question, just like Steve did around these 7s, and we'll spend some time on Sunday morning. I know I was a bit later this morning than I have been recently. It's because Christmas, you know, I had to go to a Christmas party last night. There's no way I could get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I will see you next time. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Wendy, for the comments. I really do appreciate it. It really makes a big difference. Don't be afraid to give the video a little like. That helps the algorithm, of course. And if you're able to support me with as little as $4.50 a month, and you get charts for all the videos I put up at YouTube, you can go over to patreon.com/Simon Morrell for more stuff. I'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Have a great Christmas. All the best. Ciao. Bye.